Sunshine and Music blog. Today we are talking about 5 tips that you can use to have success with your special ed music classes. When you first start teaching a special ed music class, it can be pretty intimidating. There really isn't much in the way of curriculum or guidebooks or anything to help point you in the right direction. And that's why I thought that this video would be really helpful. So let me share with you a couple things that can help you get started and really have success with your special ed self-contained classes. A lot of the things that I'm talking about that I do with self-contained special ed classes are also going to be helpful tips for any students that you have that are mainstreamed that might have an IEP as well. So you can apply this for a variety of different settings. My first tip is to use as many visuals as possible. Often visuals can speak to our neurodivergent students in a way that language might not be able to. So some ways that you might use visuals include a picture schedule of what's going to happen within the music class, maybe sequencing movements within a song, like a picture of a figure 8 and then a picture of clapping and then a picture of whatever the next motion is, and showing that sequence, and that can help them follow along. And quite honestly, that could help all kids follow along, but I digress. Also, limiting the amount of words that you're using. Often our neurodivergent students that are in our special ed classes are slower at processing language, and so when you're throwing too much at them, they're not catching that. So limiting your words and sticking to visuals can be a helpful tip. Along those same lines is allowing wait time or processing time, however you want to think of it. When you ask a student to do something and they don't immediately do it, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are not capable of it. They may just be taking longer to process what you're saying. So, and also not repeating that same command, because sometimes that makes the process of processing the language start over again. So pause and wait and see what happens. Another helpful thing to add into your special ed music lessons is repetition. You're not going to want to do a song one week and think, oh, they're going to be bored of that by next week. No. Oftentimes, I will do the same song maybe 7 weeks in a row, depending on what it is. And that first week, I might barely get any participation or reaction or engagement, but that doesn't mean that it's not a success. As I continue to repeat it each week, the students engage more and more because it's something that they've become familiar with and they know how to participate with it over time as you're modeling it. Now, another thing that you might not be used to is kind of looking at different goals for your students than what you might have for your neurotypical classes. So for example, in our neurotypical classes, a student might be singing along to a song, but you might have a class of nonverbal students for your special ed class, and all of a sudden, what do you do? What's the goal? Well, a great place to start for goals for your special ed classes is their IEPs, their Individualized Education Plan. Every student is going to have an individualized plan, but oftentimes they may have things in common. Maybe there are many kids in that class that are working on counting to 10 or identifying colors, etc. And those are things that you can do without needing necessarily a verbal response. So looking at where the kid is at and what they're working on and finding ways to work that into your music lesson is a great place to start. And at the end of the day, one of the main things to remember is that kids are kids, neurodivergent or not. They want to have fun. So make sure to add all those fun things, manipulatives, by which I mean things you hold in your hands, right? Balls, scarves, parachutes, all the things. Use those, and of course, instruments. Every kid wants a chance to play the instruments. So get them out and have some fun. If you're looking for some more specific details of specific songs and activities and resources that I use in my special ed lessons, then check out the link below to my blog post with all the specific details. And don't forget to visit my blog for lots more ideas to use in your music class.